This email follows the most recent PCLG meeting held on the 4th of June. I respectfully ask that you take a few minutes to listen to this message in full. It contains several important points that I believe merit your consideration and should take no more than 5 minutes of your time. Having spent the weekend reflecting on the discussions that took place, as well as the overall atmosphere and dynamics of the meeting, I have been left feeling disappointed and disillusioned. Regrettably, I also feel let down by the City Council and by the approach demonstrated during the meeting. The purpose of this message is to provide constructive feedback from the perspective of a member of the public observing the process as a whole. In particular, I would like to share my reflections on the development of the master plan, the public consultation process, and the role and function of the PCLG. My intention is not simply to criticize, but to offer observations that I hope will contribute positively to improving engagement, transparency, and public confidence in the process moving forward. We are all aware that the master plan has now reached a critical stage in its development and is due to return to Cabinet for final consideration and a vote on the 14th of July. The significance of this decision cannot be overstated. The outcome of that meeting will have a lasting impact on Packmoor Village, its residents, and the surrounding communities for many years to come. As such, it is essential that the process leading to this decision is approached with the seriousness, diligence, and respect that such an important matter deserves. With that in mind, I will be as direct and candid as possible from this point onward. The overwhelming perception among many residents is that the entire process, from the original Packmoor vision through to the current draft master plan, has been little more than a formality, a box-ticking exercise designed to create the appearance of consultation rather than genuinely influence outcomes. There is a widespread belief that the ultimate decision has, in effect, already been made. While I appreciate that this may not be the intention of the Council or its officers, it must be acknowledged that a significant amount of evidence, together with a series of decisions throughout the process, has contributed to this perception. Whether justified or not, the fact that so many residents have reached this conclusion represents a serious issue in itself and raises important questions about transparency, trust, and the credibility of the consultation process. Turning to the most recent meeting and item 2 on the agenda, consultation, feedback and statistics, the Council had 4 weeks to collate the data from the recent consultation, which we were told involved approximately 400 surveys. Yet the meeting began with the statement that no statistics or substantive data were available to share and that this information would be delayed. It is also important to remember that this was only the 3rd PCLG meeting, and the same issues regarding adherence to the agenda and allocated timescales were evident in the previous 2 meetings. On both occasions, members were advised that copies of the draft master plan would be made available for review and discussion. However, this did not materialize, with similar explanations being provided each time. This repeated pattern has inevitably led to frustration among participants and has further reinforced concerns about the effectiveness of the PCLG process. If the group is to fulfill its intended purpose, it is essential that commitments made to members are honored, and that meetings are conducted in a manner that respects both the agenda and the time invested by all those involved. I would also like to recap the discussion between myself and Councillor Ashworth during the meeting. Councillor Ashworth stated that the concerns raised by residents were already well understood, that they would be addressed at appropriate stages of the process, and that the feedback being provided was being listened to and taken into consideration. In response, I stated the following. Through the Council's official petition alone, more than 1,300 people have called for the master plan to be rejected. In addition, there have been numerous online petitions and surveys, all of which have been submitted as evidence. During the recent master plan consultation events, a further petition attracted almost 600 signatures in support of option 5, to do nothing. Taken together, this represents a significant and consistent level of public opposition. The concern is that, despite this clear feedback, we are unable to reassure residents that their views have been genuinely acknowledged or are having any meaningful influence on the process. We cannot confidently tell the community that the strength of feeling being expressed is being properly considered. The community was asked for its views, and those views have been provided honestly and consistently through consultations, petitions, surveys, previous meetings, and the Packmoor Vision process. Given the volume and strength of the evidence submitted, I had expected to see some indication that the council was reconsidering its position. From the residents' perspective, the proposed options 1 to 4 offer little meaningful choice. The development options presented are viewed as either large-scale development or very large-scale development, with no realistic middle ground. Faced with those choices, it is unsurprising that many residents favour option 5, no development at all. My concern is that despite the overwhelming feedback received, the process appears to be moving towards the same predetermined outcome. With the master plan due to return to Cabinet in July, residents are seeking reassurance that their views have genuinely influenced the proposals. If the current plans are proceeding unchanged, regardless of the evidence submitted, it raises legitimate questions about the value and purpose of the consultation process. Councillor Ashworth then asked what number I believed would be the right amount of housing to build. My response was that this is precisely the point. While I can only speak for my own views, it is the Council's responsibility to understand the views of the wider community. Yet throughout this process, residents have largely been presented with predefined options rather than being asked a fundamental question: what level of housing development do they feel would be proportionate and appropriate? 18 to 20 months into the process, the community has been consulted on a range of options, yet has not been given a meaningful opportunity to define its preferred vision from the outset. I appreciate that the PCLG was not established as a decision-making body. However, it was created to help shape and influence the development of the master plan, ensuring that key decisions were informed by resident feedback and community views. As a member of the PCLG, a resident and secretary of the GCP Community Association, I urge Cabinet members, senior officers and council directors to carefully reconsider the current draft master plan for Packmoor before any final decision is made. The point I wish to make is that, in my view, residents are not opposed to the principle of having a master plan. Rather, they have significant concerns about the current draft proposal. There is an important distinction between rejecting the concept of a master plan altogether and seeking changes to a particular version of it. As the master plan remains in draft form, now is precisely the right time to listen to residents, consider alternative approaches and make meaningful amendments. The consultation process should be viewed as an opportunity to refine and improve the proposal, not simply to endorse it in its current form. Many residents feel that the draft plan places a disproportionate emphasis on development and does not yet strike the right balance between growth, infrastructure, environmental considerations, and the preservation of local character. I firmly believe there is a genuine opportunity to achieve a balanced and proportionate solution, one that delivers the Council's strategic objectives, while also respecting the concerns, aspirations, and unique character of Packmoor and Great Chell. Through meaningful engagement, open dialogue, and a willingness to compromise, I am confident that a solution can be found that commands broader public support, strengthens community trust, and creates a master plan that residents can feel part of rather than subjected to. A successful master plan should not be measured solely by the scale of development it enables, but by its ability to deliver sustainable growth while maintaining the qualities that make Packmoor and Great Chell distinctive places to live. By working together, there is every opportunity to produce a plan that benefits both existing and future residents alike. I ask that you carefully reconsider both the direction of the proposal and the assumptions underpinning it, with a view to finding a solution that commands broader public support. Thank you for your time and consideration. Regards, Darren Bamford.